Hi, I'm Ericka Scott, and I want to tell you today about Strategic Plan Now. So Strategic Plan Now is a foundation for small businesses and nonprofits. It works for both. And what Strategic Plan Now does is it creates a system for people and processes for aligning your team and buying back time. And it allows you to help delegate and understand who's doing what, and so that you can have everybody going in the same direction. Strategic Plan Now starts out, I have 3 phases. So there's see it, plan it, do it. So in that first part, see it, we're going to do some assessment. We're going to take a look and understand what's your leadership style, what are the personalities of the team, take some intake from staff and management as well as leadership to really get a comprehensive picture of what's going on. So in Strategic Plan Now, I use the analogy of your organization is like a car going on a road trip. And if you're embarking on a road trip, you're not going to go on a road trip without a roadmap. And as the CEO, the owner, the leader of the organization, you are the driver. You're the visionary. You're the one that's driving the direction. And then you have a team of players, including typically your lead implementer or administrative person, your operations person, that's your right-hand person that's really helping to implement those things. And so with Strategic Plan Now, it's a framework that's going to help you run your business better. So that first part of see it in the assessment is really understanding the personalities, the people, the jobs, job descriptions, all the things, and taking inventory of what systems you're using, what software, what people, so we really know what we're working with. It's like a first check under the hood, so to speak. It's a maintenance check to really understand what's happening in order to make sure that that vehicle, your business, your organization is in peak performance for the journey. And so you need to really have a good solid foundation. Once those assessments are done, then we move to where we can start identifying and clarifying the mission, the vision, the core values, and the strategic objectives of the organization, which then can align the team around those things. Just think of it as like a solid foundation for which everybody then can refer to, and it's common language that everybody knows and everybody then can work towards. So without having those core pieces of mission, vision, core values, strategic objectives, you really run the risk of people being confused and going in different directions. Some people consider that old school, but it really is foundational, and it can make the world of difference in your organization to have alignment. I meet clients where they're at in the process. That's a great thing about Strategic Plan Now is if you've done some of that work, but maybe you've had a strategic plan and it's sitting in a closet somewhere on the shelf, collecting dust. If you're not using your strategic plan, if your mission is not known by the whole organization, if your vision isn't known, if you don't have a common set of core values and what that means to everybody, as well as not having a set of core strategic objectives, those are going to put you on the wrong path and create roadblocks along your journey. So let's start with see it. We'll do some assessments, and then we'll start to work towards putting a plan into place, getting clarity on your mission, your vision, your core values, and your strategic objectives. Once we have that into place, we can move in to plan it. Now we start creating a plan around that. So whether that's long-term planning, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, and there's organizations that are even having to look at 3 months at a time now because of the way that the markets are. And so having the flexibility of a system that allows you to apply the time frame that works best for you is going to help you to be able to capitalize on opportunities and also avoid costly mistakes and loss of resources. That's where we have a framework, templates, worksheets, things to work through to help identify annual plans, annual goals. And then from there, there's going to be program plans within that feed up to the annual goals. We're looking at the strategic plan overview, mission, vision, core values, strategic objectives. That is the top. And then we go down to the next layer. That's going to be long-term goals, annual goals. And then from annual goals, you're going to go into program plans specific to each relative area within the business. So you start looking at what are the key areas in the business. Those might be organized by departments, by managers. So you're going to have some sort of you'll have finance and HR and marketing. So these different areas you start to build out. And in that first piece, we've really looked at what those are and what those jobs are and how we can align people to those roles. Make sure the right people are on the right seats on the bus, right? We go through that process and understand that who's doing what, and there becomes greater clarity and ownership by those people. You've hired good people and you want them to do their best. Like, you're paying them for their expertise in those areas. Let them lead, let them do their job. And the way that you can do that is by building trust, by having a solid foundation and a framework for which you know what's going on as the boss. And each of the managers or directors, vice presidents, whoever your leadership team is, whoever are owning those areas, they know what they are responsible for and what the expectations are. The whole system is designed to set expectations, clarify roles and responsibilities, and empower people so that you can delegate with ease, with trust, and make better business decisions that are based on sound information and data. So we started with that high-level mission, vision, core values, strategic objectives. We've moved into annual planning. We've moved into program planning. Program planning is where you're going to incorporate the real clear, you're going to get tactical. So list out key initiatives that support the goals of the overall organization as they pertain to each area. And within those initiatives, we're going to break that down further into what are lead activities and what are lag activities. And then what are the metrics and the tactics that align with each of those. We get even further granular into the process by mapping this out on a quarterly basis so that then we can see how each area's annual map connects, and so that managers can be aware of what's happening, so that if there's a big promotion happening in the spring, marketing is preparing for it, and that we know that we've budgeted and we have the cash flow to cover the output for this event. So they all start to play together, and it really starts to reduce the stress on your team and starts to have them work as a cohesive unit rather than working against each other and trying to compete for resources. We're going to implement a system that helps you assess what the current state is and then create an action plan. That last piece, the critical last piece, is to do it. You actually have to do the work. So we can plan all day, and any plan is only as good as the activities and implementation. And this is where businesses get stuck, organizations get stuck, especially nonprofits that have volunteers that are taking on some of these key responsibilities without clarity, expectations. It's a recipe for disappointment and for missing goals and opportunities. So by having clarity, everybody knows what's clearly happening. So in that do it phase, it's all about accountability frameworks. And what I mean by that is, what are the meeting cadences, the participants, the structure that is necessary to make that business be successful to carry out the strategic plan. And that's where it really gets important to work with a skilled fractional COO that understands what the different methodologies or frameworks that are available, what tools, so that you can find the tools that work right for your business, for the people within it and how you work. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's create a system that works for your business. So I don't have a one-size-fits-all fix for each business. I meet them where they're at. I meet each organization where they're at, and we see what's going to work based on all these different factors going in. And that, again, is a place where you're going to go through a lot of trial and error on your own if you don't have awareness of what the tools that are available to you are. And some of them are so simple. And there's been so many people, there's professors, authors that devote their life to creating these systems and promoting them. And there's so many wonderful books that you can reference. And I've done that work. I am a nerd when it comes to looking at these operational books, how how these different authors, their take on leadership development, organizational structure, operations. I've taken all these pieces together and put it together into a system that I believe helps people simplify the process. It takes something very complex, builds out a repeatable rinse and repeat system so that you can then check in on the progress of each of these things and be able to make the transitions that you need to in your business when the opportunity or the markets change and and you need to make a quick shift, you'll have the lay of the land and be able to make those shifts. And you'll have buy-in from your team because they'll feel invested in not only their part in what's going on, but also what their counterpart and their other managers are facing as well. And all the things that you're facing as the leader, as that visionary. If you're a visionary leader that's lacking some systems, but have great people that you can know have potential to do more with the right tools and resources in place, then a fractional COO might be the right fit for you. If you're interested in learning more, you can book a meeting on the website, bookacoo.com, and we can discuss what options might be best to get you the solutions you need.